Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew. This is the Just a Guy Linux YouTube channel. This is the fourth part of Openbox, the discussion on Openbox, and I'm going to try to get through as much as I can today, and with the goal of closing the discussion and closing the series. So we're going to work on menus and key bindings, and from my perspective, this is the most important video, especially as a transition to different window managers. If you are a window manager user, or if you have any aspirations to become a window manager user, this is the video that you may want to. It may provide that kind of like bridge between a floating window manager and maybe a tiling window manager. So we are going to start today by going into the settings and Tint 2 settings, and we're going to edit the theme. Excuse me. And we're going to the taskbar, and we're going to show the desktops, and there are 4 of them. And it looks like all of them are on 4, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and put the name in and hit apply, and yeah, everything is on desktop workspace 4. So let's go ahead and OK and close, and I'm going to move everything over to 1. And that was a really easy way to do that. We're going to look at some different ways to move things from one desktop to another. Now I'm going to open up the file manager and go to the .config directory and look at Openbox. Okay. Now we've already edited this auto start in the very first video on installation of Openbox. And today we're going to look at this menu.xml and rc.xml. Starting with menu.xml, if you look here, when we do a right click into the menu, terminal, emulator, and web browser are at the top, seemingly because these are kind of the top 2 most favorite apps to use on any, for any user. So I'm going to go and let's open this with Genie. Okay, and you can see terminal emulator is number 1, web browser is number 2. If you want to, if you want to simply add something like, let's just go ahead and copy this whole section on item, and let's go down 1, and let's just add that now. And we're going to call it file manager. And as far as executing, it's not going to be obviously the web browser, but we are going to, since this is PC Man FM on this particular build, we're just going to put that in the execute and save. Now it's not going to, like if I right click, it's not going to do anything until you go down and reconfigure. So once I click reconfigure, and now I right click, and there's the file manager, and it's available, so I can just go click. So if you just want to add a few things, like we have down here to the right click menu, then this is a simple way to do that. There is a different option that I wanted to talk about. And that option, let's go ahead and close this. And what I want to do is actually rename this to .bak so that there is no menu XML file anymore. And I'm going to go to Menumaker over here on sourceforge.net, and let me go ahead and right click and open this in a new tab, and let's download this. And we're going to save it. Okay. I couldn't really tell if I saved it or not, but I'm going to assume I did. So let me go ahead and close this. Notice here that Menumaker has a Python requirement. I know that I already have it, so I don't necessarily want to, I don't want to install it. If you need this, go ahead and just, install it as a dependency. So, excuse me. Let's go down and we're going to open up the file manager, and we're going down to downloads. And there's the Menumaker. I've also installed Xarchiver, which added this extract here. So we're going to do that. We're going to click extract here. And we are going to hit F4 to open the terminal in this directory. Okay. Oh, actually, I could have done one more thing. So I'm going to go CD Menumaker. All right. Now, if you want to install using this one-line command, it's going to fail. So what we need to do is just kind of break it into parts. If I type ./configure, it works great. If I type make, which is the second command here, it works great. But if you do make install, it's not going to work. So make sure that you use sudo privileges here and sudo make install. Okay? And there it goes. All right, let's go ahead and clear. And let's go ahead and minimize this. And we're going to, let's go back to the .config directory and Openbox. Again, there is no menu.xml file here. And if you look at the information on this website, all you have to do is type mmaker and then your window manager, which would be Openbox. So let's go ahead over here and say mmaker Openbox. Now again, there's probably something else, like I think you have to put a -t in and then name a terminal emulator, and not all terminal emulators are the same. So regardless, if you look over here, it worked. And I can tell that it's different because if I look at this .xml file, it's vastly different than the one that we just backed up. It's going to be bigger, but at the same time, what's 9.4 kilobytes, okay? So let's close this for now. And if I right click, oh, it's the same. Why is it the same? Because we didn't hit reconfigure. Okay, so we're going to go down to reconfigure. Now it should be using this .xml file. When I right click, there's a bunch. It's a vastly different menu for Openbox. Okay, and it's very good. In fact, this is the one I would use as a secondary, and I'll show you what I use as a primary in a second. So there we're gonna stop there. If you want to do something different with your XML for your menu, feel free. It's a good chore to kind of have and learn. And like I said, it's an XML file, so it's very malleable. Okay, so let's talk about this Rc.xml. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this in Genie. And I don't need that one anymore. Okay. So what we have here is, and I want to go down basically to how it uses desktops and then key bindings for applications. Okay, so here, this W and the function key 1 is going to go to workspace 1. Okay, and we're already on 1. So if I hit window F2, you notice it showed for a second, and we're on this particular workspace down here. So as far as key bindings are concerned, this is a really basic type of key bindings. If you want to learn this, that's fine. I choose to edit this file a lot, okay? And when I mean a lot, I've already provided you the one that I would use. And I'm going to go ahead and download that in a second. It's like right here, for example. Alt F4 to close is something that is incredibly hard to get to. So Alt F4, and I have to look down a lot to make sure that I'm closing things properly. Or I could just use my mouse to go over and click the X. But if you want to transition to and use more key bindings, once I started doing key bindings and learn and getting muscle memory, it's really helped me productivity wise. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let's go ahead and rename this as .bak, just so that we have it. All right, and I'll go ahead and close this too. And I don't need Menumaker, but I do need this. Okay, let me go backtrack for a sec, okay? In the .config directory, I have this rofi configuration directory, okay? And if you haven't gotten it, this Openbox install that we git cloned in the very first, and actually the third video, is right here. And under the .config, I'm going to move rofi over. So I'm going to copy this that was in the git clone directory, copy it, and I'm going to put it in the .config, the user.config, where everything else is. So I'm going to hit paste, and now the rofi configuration file that I use for a lot of stuff is where it should be, okay? And we installed rofi, I think, on day 1 too with Openbox. It's just we haven't used it yet. And now's the day we're going to use it. So let me go back over here, in this Openbox Rc.xml file I did yesterday. Okay, I just haven't, and if you have used this git clone for this repository, you don't have to do anything, because this, within the last day rather, this file would have been changed already. But most of you who have been following from the beginning, you're not going to, this .xml file is antiquated. So we need to grab this, okay? So I'm going to click on this and hit raw, okay? And now I want to save this page as, and notice that it is in the drew.config Openbox directory, all right? And we're just going to save it as this rc.xml. All right, let's go ahead and close this. And so when I go over here to Openbox, there's that new rc.xml. It's slightly bigger than the one that we did have, but I want to really kind of deep dive here and talk about all the stuff that I added. And all of it is, well, not all of it, but what I should say is there's a whole section that wasn't there before, okay? And that is right here. And there's a, excuse me, there's a section on tiling windows, okay? And this section here allows you to manipulate the window and make it either larger or smaller. So if I hit, oh, by the way, it's not going to work, right? Because we haven't reconfigured. So let me go back over here and hit reconfigure. Now we'll be using the the new rc.xml file. So what if I do a window right? What will happen? Window and then the right arrow key, and it just kind of moves it. I'm going to hit it again. So it actually moved the left edge over as well. Okay, so let me go back to the left, and then Windows left again, and Windows left one more time. And you'll see that you can really manipulate the size of the window very easily. Oh, I just hit something, didn't I? That was by accident. Let me undo. Okay. This is really good, but I really want to talk a little bit more about this. And this is the key binding to resize a open window to 50% height or 50% width, okay? So like if I am here and I just want to move it over here and I don't want to do a whole lot, I'm just going to hit Windows A for Alt right. So Windows Alt right, and there it is. And I can, if I'm over here, then I can hit Windows Alt left, and both of them are at 50%, and both of them are using an equal portion of the desktop, okay? So what happens if I go Windows Alt up, or super? I should say super because not everybody has a Windows key, but super, you know, in this, when I see W, I think Windows, but let's say super or Windows Alt up, it automatically goes and puts it on the top and tiles it 100% across, but only 50% down. So if we do the same thing, now you've got both of them taking up 50% of the desktop. I'm going to go over like that and this, and now they're both 50% again. Now there is a good way to send to a different desktop. So I'm here and I've got this, and this is the active window, okay? And in this section where it says key bindings, we're already on desktop 1. But if I say Windows or Super 2, it goes, and there's nothing in there, so I'm going to go back to Super 1. All right. But I also, if I use the Shift key, and I'm using this, I go Windows or Super Shift 2, and it moved something over to, it moved Genie over to the desktop, the second desktop, or desktop 2. Okay. So if I hit Windows or Super 1, Windows or Super 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's easy to kind of like see, you know, what's on each desktop down here, but it's much easier for me at least to use something like key bindings to move stuff from one to another. So I'm going to hit Super Shift 1, and we're back to desktop 1. Okay. Now, I also put this in. This is Windows Shift C to close. Okay. So I'm over here, and since I want to keep that open, if I hit Windows Shift C, it closes it automatically. Rather than use the mouse key to go over and hit the arrow, you know, if I can avoid using the mouse, then to me that's a win. Okay, that's a win. Okay, let me go ahead and open something else. All right. Okay, so Windows Shift right and Windows Shift left. Okay, so Windows Shift left. Notice that it basically highlighted, so I don't actually have to click on like with the mouse to switch something. I can hit Windows Shift right, or left, sorry, that was left, right. Windows Shift left, Windows Shift right. And it's basically, it's highlighting whichever one you want, and now you can switch it to a different desktop. Okay. Now there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to play with this in here. Okay. And you can, like I said, you can cycle windows, you can go down. So something that you should kind of like, if you are interested, you should really take a hard, long look at this particular rc.xml file and try to learn how to use key bindings. We're going to finish it up with this running applications. All right. So I only have a few in, and one of them. Let me go ahead and close this. The WE. So Windows E key is going to open up Genie. And since Genie is already open, I'm just not going to do it. But let's say E, by the way, is for editor. Okay, E for editor. F for file manager. So Windows F opens up PCMan FM. Windows B opens up Firefox. Okay. Yep. Okay. Close that. And now let's talk about this. Oh, by the way, let me finish up this Windows return, which is what I've been waiting for so long. It's like Windows return opens up a terminal and Windows Shift C closes it. So if I go boom, 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 I can open up multiple things, close, close, close. All right. It's so much better. Like if you had to do that, so it's like click, 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 and then close, close. Oop, missed it. Close, close. Or it's super enter, super enter, super enter, and then super shift C, super shift C, super shift C. Okay? It's a big difference to me, at least in terms of productivity. Okay? Now let's talk about this. All right? Say you've got everything on your desktop and you're like, okay, now I got to move something over so that I can right click. Well, by using rofi and by using this command, rofi -modi drun show blah 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 blah, okay, and I hit Windows space, there's all the apps, and all I have to do is say mousepad right there, or Firefox, and it's right there. Okay, it's so awesome using rofi. I want to get into a lot more rofi in the coming videos. Rofi is an incredibly powerful program that has a lot of different features to it, and something that I want to learn how to do, actually. But look, Windows space, rofi pops up. So there's a lot going on here, and I granted this is a long video. I guess it's only about 20 minutes, but for what it's worth, you know, there's a lot that you can unpack with just by looking at this rc.xml file and learning how, or changing it and modifying what the key bindings will be. I know that there's not a lot, I mean, I know that there's a portion of you rather that are not key bindings users, but I know that there are quite a few of you that are. So as we look at the last key binding, Windows Shift X to exit, you'll notice that this is going to be me logging out of Openbox for the last time. So, or at least for now. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you leave a like or a comment in the notes below. Thank you very much.